The Wildcat Sports Pub CNY Brewfest is coming up January 31st and February 1st at the New York State Fairgrounds. Taste your way through unlimited samples from more than 100 breweries. Now featuring hard ciders, seltzers, craft cocktails, and mocktails too. Grab your tickets now at cnybrewfest.com.
At the Carrabba's Italian Grill at the Fayetteville Town Center on QSportsTalk.com, and welcome to those getting the notifications that we're on here and chatting away. And Coach Red Autry, Red, good to see you, man.
Can you hear me?
I think Paulie's still working on the. There it is.
Hello.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right.
Things are good. Getting cold out there. Could be better. Well, that's right. There's still plenty of season left here in that regard. But we'll get right into it here. People are starting to chat and say hi in the stream chat here at QSportsTalk.com. This is from Roddy. Plain and simple, what went wrong defensively on Tuesday, Coach?
Everything. Everything. I didn't think we, I thought we guarded and guarded for about 10, 11, 12 minutes. We just didn't have any we were too far away. I thought they were able to move very freely, and I thought we let our offense impact our defense. We had a couple of shots early, a couple of open threes and a couple of layups opportunities that we had that got away from us, and I thought that impacted our energy on defense.
And I know after the BC win on the weekend, you made it a point to talk about being out there and able to play for the 40 minutes and a good effort for the 40 minutes, and that was a big difference. Whereas you mentioned this in the first hour, the first 14, 15 minutes, there was the same effort, and then just wasn't able to sustain that for the rest of the game.
Yeah, again, I thought, our offensive, kind of impacted our defense, and again, every team kind of, when you get into those type of games, those things happen, and you try to try to weather the storm, and we just couldn't get past it. And again, we started the second half in a hole, and it was just an uphill battle the whole game.
Now, when a guy like JJ, who's averaging close to 20 points a game, has a game like that where he can, they're all over him, and they got a great guy on him defensively, and he's only been able to score 4. How do you talk to him, like after the game or in practice during the week after that, or is he the kind of kid that's kind of zeroed in? It's like, hey, I'll look at the tape and get better.
You watch film, you watch some stuff, and you just got to get ready for the next game, and you got to put that behind you and learn from that. I think as he's been back, this is kind of him experiencing being what it is to be, on the top of the scouting report, and we got to do a better job of trying to help him get in different situations, and put him in different situations, as the game goes along. But you're going to have some of those games. Sometimes you're just going to have those games where the ball just doesn't fall, just doesn't go your way, and you got to be able to keep your spirit up. We talk about your spirit, your body language, and keep fighting, and kind of keep pushing, because you're a leader. Your energy is infectious. This team follows you, and so you got to get those guys. And maybe when you and those are the things that you talk about when you have games like that as a coach player relationship. You want to get them to understand that things don't always go well, but you got to kind of have that put that smile on and keep going.
Just that positive attitude, which goes into one of the questions here. Coach, how are the guys, or anybody really in the program, handling some of the negativity that gets thrown around?
I think it's been there for a while now, so I think these guys really kind of understand. And again, they're disappointed just as much as we are disappointed with the results, because we are a good team, and we just have to, just got to block that noise out. I keep saying the noise, and keep focused and keep going. Again, what we're trying to do is not easy. It's not easy at all. It's not easy at all, and so we just got to keep, putting our heads down, chopping wood, and staying positive. You can't let negativity, creep in, because then you have nothing after that.
This from Steve, Coach, when it comes to, and I know you and Matt in the first hour on the air, on the radio portion, talking the NIL question comes up all the time, and I know it came up last hour, but this question from Steve, when it comes to NIL, what ACC programs are we comparable to, which ones we clearly have a disadvantage against, and against who we are clearly better funded? So I guess where do we stack up?
Again, no one really knows what the real numbers are.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
I mean,
but you kind of, you have an idea of, some of the teams that are really, putting, in the game and is at a high level. Obviously, it's no secret, teams like the Dukes, the teams like the Louisvilles, you can tell that they've, been able to kind of get a grasp of the NIL and kind of, got a little bit ahead of it,
Back to that, a couple of years ago, when did it first start coming up? Just out of curiosity, the chatter about it, and then when it finally hit.
I think the last 2 years. So the first year it hit, it was okay.
Trying to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah. And then after that, the last 2 or 3 years is, again, I think the last 3 years, and I think. I think the year before I took over, I realized, man, like people are really leaning. I think Miami was the first team to really kind of, lean into it when they signed the player from Kansas State, and they were the first kind of school to kind of like embrace it. And I think kind of be like vocal about it. I think everybody else they didn't want, they kind of kept that under the rug.
Miami was AI. It's like people, they don't like it or don't quite understand it, but then all of a sudden it's there and it's a thing, and you got to get caught up and figure it out. This question here from Roddy: can zone defenses still work in modern basketball, considering how much emphasis is placed on perimeter shooting by offenses?
I think you can use the zone. I think I don't know if you can use it in teams. Shoot, again, we played a team last night. They shoot. The other day they shoot like 30, 35 threes a game. So you just. You try to keep them off balance, but I think today's players, where they shoot from is unbelievable. They shoot far, so they stretch your zone. So you basically are playing man to man because they don't shoot on the 3-point line. They shoot way behind the 3-point line. So
I was watching a little bit. I think it was Iowa State last night, and wherever that guy was, from the logo, the T or the E in state.
That's
what Jake Billis described it as.
These athletes now, they shoot the basketball at a high level and they shoot it far.
And they're good.
They're good.
Now coming up with Notre Dame coming in the first time out, both you guys were without key players. Now, what does Burton bring to Notre Dame? We know what JJ brings to your team. What does Burton do for Notre Dame back in the lineup?
Yeah, another guy that can handle the ball. He can shoot it. He can score it. He makes the game easier for those guys. To the Shrewsburys and the Davises, they don't have to do as much, and they still can do things. But he's the guy that kind of gets it, the engine. He can push it. No one can push the ball like he can push the ball. He's a jet. He's a blur. I think everyone remember him from last year. If you went to the game, he's a blur, and he can get into the lane and. He can score. So again, they're bringing back that another double-digit scorer and a guy that can get get assists and make the game easier for those guys.
Now,
sets the table.
When you were playing, Coach, going back to JJ and the game that he had the other night, when you were playing, was there an instance or a game that it just wasn't happening for you?
I had a couple of those. I had a couple of those.
You had so many great games, obviously, in the great run, but a couple of games. Do you remember one in particular? Just was not happening.
Oh yeah. I think it was we played UConn one game. I think I was 2 for 14. Just couldn't. It was. I never really shot 14 times. I'll let you know. The game was already kind of out of hand. If I'm shooting 14 times, the game is kind of out of hand on that end. And I think I had one. One time, I forgot what year it was. It might have been my junior year. We played at Georgetown, and I think I scored 1 point, 1 rebound, and I forgot what it was. It was awful. It was awful.
So it happens. I mean, you come back the next, the next game. And,
and everyone thinks he's supposed to. Everyone plays great every game. That's not the case. That's not the case.
Steve putting into the stream chat. And by the way, if you're watching here on QSportsTalk.com, you can go into the stream chat and put your comments and questions in there. But Steve adding a nugget about your 30 points after halftime versus Missouri. So that's on the other side of that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I got some of those moments too. Thank you, Steve.
And I know you talked again last hour, and everybody's wondering about Donnie. What's he actually able to do in practice at all? Anything?
He's working out as far as like lifting and stuff like that. And, by the time our portion of practice, he's just kind of watching and doing some form shooting. He can do some form shooting and things like that right now. Just little light stuff. But, just...
Again, day to day. Coach, when you look at the AP top 25, I think Duke is the only ACC team in there right now, and clearly they've distanced themselves from the rest of the conference. But what's up with the conference? As a conference,
that's a good question. I don't know. I think, and when I look at our non-conference, I think we went out and our conference kind of still challenged themselves. And not to say that other conferences didn't, but we didn't have a great non-conference. When it comes down to it, we didn't win enough games. I know we didn't win any of the games. We had opportunities against Texas Tech, Maryland. Those games in the SEC Challenge, and we came up short. And I think our whole league kind of came up short when they had those, non-conference games that were, quad one opportunities. I don't think the conference did as well as we would have liked.
Question here from Matt. Everybody thinks they can do your job. Would it make you feel better to go to someone else's job and tell them your thoughts on what they do?
Speak to me, man. Speak to me. Oh, I love that. Yeah, speak to me. Yeah.
Why do you do that? Just pick a day where you just we'll bring you around to everybody else's jobs.
And just tell them, and then go post it, right?
Yeah.
No, I tell you, before I took over, Coach Boeheim prepared me for stuff like that.
Did he?
Yeah, he always said that. He goes, you got the only job that everybody thinks that they know more than you, and they can do your job, and they actually tell you about it. So,
well, it's like, would you ever going to your dentist and
be like, hey,
tell me, I don't really like what you're doing there.
I don't know what you're doing right there, man. Now, why did you do that? Why did you fill that teeth? Why did you use that, right? No, it's, it comes with the territory.
Yep.
I think the one thing is that this is a great community, and I think, as you out in the community and you with people, it's different. Again, you can't let, a small minority of people that can voice their opinions and it'll impact you, your family, your program, so that's why, you constantly, I know I'm constantly talking with our guys about that. During the basketball season, get off of it. Just get off of it.
And it's going to be hard. I mean, they live on it.
I know.
They're grown up on it now.
I know. I try to tell them that, get off of it. But I think, that's the part of when people talk about mental health. That's part of it. When people really, that's part of it, because, like you said, that's what they. They're on. For us older guys, we barely know how to use it.
Yeah. Put it away, and then I, a couple of years ago, my phone died, and it was maybe 2 or 3 days till I had it replaced, and it was like the best 2 or 3 days in my adult life, I think.
Oh yeah, peaceful.
Nobody could get a hold of me. Nobody was emailing me. Nobody texting. No nothing.
You realize how did I live like this before, right?
Yeah. There's a couple of offers here in the stream chat, Coach, for you to go to where these people work and tell their boss.
Yeah, they want me to be their spokesman. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, Brett, come in here. I want you to talk to my boss here for a minute.
On behalf of,
Coach, going back to the BC game, that kind of like an old school Big East feel about it. It's a little chippy there, obviously, with Eddie and
Chad Venning.
Yeah,
Chad Venning. Yeah,
that was fun to watch on television. I'm sure there it was kind of
Yeah, it was intense.
There.
It was intense, and I expect the same thing. The second time around, the physical teams, and we haven't had a guy like Eddie since probably Lorenze. That physical presence. The guy that can go down there and hold his ground and stand his ground. And I thought the referees that game did a great job. Even though we won, I was even if we I just thought they did a good job of officiating. Excuse me, those two guys, because they let them play, they let them be physical. You don't typically see that.
No, you don't. And again, it was fun to watch that. And I didn't know if maybe that was something even going forward we'd see a little more of from Eddie. I mean, is that something that you're encouraging? It's like, this is what you got to do.
I mean, he's a big part of what we do. When we got to be able to manufacture points, inside, and I think it'll help us out on our perimeter as well. But he's a guy that's been productive down there for us. Him and Jair, and when we had Donnie, those guys were very productive for us. Closing around the basket and drawing fouls.
And Chris Bell coming off the bench, I mean, it seems comfortable, at least productive-wise. I mean, 3 of the last 4 games. And
it's been in double figures, and, we need that. I think he's kind of, settled into that. I think it gives him time to kind of, get a chance to see and watch and see what's going on and come in and, get some shots. And again, he's a really talented young man, and, again, he's starting to play well. We just been kind of inconsistent, right? But he'll still, like I keep telling him, keep working. Work is the only way that you can get consistent. Just keep working.
Are there players like that, Coach? Like you mentioned Chris Bell, I remember Dion Waiters on the bench would start, but then he could kind of see what the flow of the game is happening and what's going on in the game, and then when he got into the game, did his thing.
Yeah.
Is it similar kind of thing? If you give it a couple of minutes to kind of take it all in?
I really think it helps. I really do, when you're going to play 25, 26, 27 minutes, when that you're playing that. I think it helps. I really do. I think, again, he knows he's going into the game. He knows we need to get him shots. He knows, once he gets in, he's probably going to finish the game. Not always, but for the most part. So, again, I think he's settled in that, he knows he's playing now. It's just, okay, let me see what's going on here. And I think that's helped him.
Question here from Ryan. It says, Coach, besides Coach Boeheim, do you have any coaches, past or present, that you look up to or take coaching philosophies from?
I have a ton of coaches, a ton of friends that I kind of lean on. The guy that got me into the business, Seth Greenberg, is one of my coaches that I talk to a lot, and I have some other, successful, coaches from that got me into high school basketball, that I talk to, that I speak with, and then obviously some other college coaches that I may talk to every now and then, but again, I talk to very few people, but Coach Boeheim is the guy that he knows me the best. So
another suggestion that says Paulie would like to switch jobs with you this week.
Paulie wants to coach. He wants to coach the game this week.
I don't think came up on the
this weekend.
Yeah. Well, you ready there, Paulie?
No.
Red can go do the show.
I think I take the messages about Red harder than he does.
No, I try to, Paulie. I try to just, I try to block it out, Paulie.
Question here in the stream chat again. It's qsportstalk.com. If you want to get some final thoughts in here before the game on Saturday, is there changes, Coach, that you anticipate to make in getting the team ready in the next offseason? Practices, exhibitions, etc.
Well, I think they just, if I'm not 100% sure, I think I got a memo. I think they changed our preseason schedules and exhibition things. So, if they have, I think you'll start to see more teams do exhibition games against Division I teams now and things like that. So, I'll definitely be looking into that. I'm always looking into, different things, because, college has changed.
Sure.
I think they just passed that rule. So now we can do exhibition games against Division I schools. I think that's, not a bad idea. Not a bad idea to see where your team is at early before the real games start.
Now, would you have any input as to who those are, or is it just
yeah, I would definitely, yeah, I definitely, yeah, I would definitely do it. Again, I think that's a really good thing to do. Being able to play, some other Division I schools. You just, again, you get a chance to see kind of where you really are, and your guys get a chance to see where they really are before you get into the games that count.
What about those preseason trips? Like, I remember the Tyler Ennis year, they played in Canada, and that made them start the season. Is that going to be more available to you guys?
That is still available, and that would be something that I would be looking into, just because, again, next year we'll have, 4 freshmen, highly talented freshmen, but, you want to try to get them ready. You want to try to get some games under their belt, and then, obviously we'll be bringing in some new players, from the portal. So, I think that'll be really good for us, going forward.
That's cool. And then I remember there wasn't there in Italy?
Italy, that was a great trip. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore. I mean, you can, but you can, but you want to use your resources wisely, I would say.
So, long story short, Paulie's not invited on that one. It sounds like.
No, Paulie's always invited.
The game on Saturday, it's Notre Dame. Obviously, same identical records, and the rubber match here between you guys. So, what do you see anything different from Notre Dame other than having Marcus back?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big difference right there, having him back. High scoring game, high scoring team. I expect it to be up and down, a lot of threes. I think again he poses another challenge because he's a guy that he's their engine. You think of him, and I hate to say this, he gives you that Chucky Hepburn kind of, for those guys. He's a guy that has the ball in his hand. He makes plays for guys, and he can score the ball. So again, they didn't have that, but it's the same for us, for JJ though.
Looking back over the years, there was a couple of Notre Dame players like Luke Herringatti. He's one of those
old school.
Well, it is, but he's one of those guys because back it's a different time, obviously. But it's like every time they'd come up on a schedule, it's like, is he still playing? Like there was a couple of guys like that during that era when they stayed, 4 years, where you couldn't believe that. How is the guy still playing on that team?
Because they played as freshmen. There wasn't no transferring. Yeah, he stayed for 4 years.
This one here. What's the biggest difference, Coach, between when you played versus now?
I think the speed, I think the skill, I think the speed and skill of the game, and what's emphasized, like when we played, no coach was saying jack up 20 and 33s. No one. Only coach that was actually doing that back then was Rick Pitino, his team. Yeah, I mean, no one kind of played like that, So it was really, you get the best shot, you try to get inside, you try to get close to the basket, you want to get fouls and get to the foul line. Now is, that's a bad shot if you take an open mid-range shot. That's a bad shot. I'm not a bad shot. It's not an efficient shot.
Not an efficient shot.
Yeah. So I just think the way the game is played is just changed as far as what they prioritize, and obviously the freedom of movement is not as physical as it used to be. But these guys are very skilled and very athletic, though.
It seems like there's more really good players than like 20 or 30 years ago. Each Division I and II. I mean, there just seems like a higher percentage of guys, higher numbers of guys who are really skilled.
Yeah. I mean, big. I mean, think about it. You got 6'9" guys, 6'10" guys shooting threes, and some of them are better shooting threes than they are around the basket. And they can dribble and pass. Before it used to be like rebound the ball, a power forward. There's no more power forward. It's just a forward.
It's Coach Red Autry. The game, 4 p.m. tip. It's Syracuse and Notre Dame on Saturday. Go Orange. Good luck, Coach. Thanks. And
Thank you.
Thanks everybody here at QSportsTalk.com. We'll see you back here next week again at Carrabba's. Until then, go Orange.
Go Orange.